So let's see how this does. Hey there, it's Matt, 2A Cops. I am out here today at the range with a brand new gun that was dropped on Friday. I got in my hands yesterday. This is the brand new Palmetto State Armory Jakl 9mm.
The Jakl has arrived.
So, I am a Jakl fan. I own one of every caliber now. I started with a 5.56 rifle. After that, I bought a 300 black pistol, which I've SBR'd, have since SBR'd. Love both of those. The 308 came out. I jumped on that, managed to snag one of those the day it was dropped. Got a video that I did a review on that. Great shooting gun. Shot it next to a bunch of my 308s. Felt a lot like my FAL, recoil-wise. So I have not put any rounds through this thing. I have taken it apart, looked at it, saw how they did things. I am freely going to admit right now, I am probably going to be kind of hard on this gun. It's been 2 years in the making, and it's a straight blowback 9mm. They didn't have to make a lower. They already had the lower, which is their AR-V lower. It is a AR pattern 9mm lower that uses Scorpion mags, CZ Scorpion pattern mags. So all they had to do was build an upper, and it's a straight blowback upper. Took them 2 years to get it out. I was hoping for roller delay, piston operated, something other than straight blowback. This is based on the size of the gun, granted. So this gun I have not touched internally. This is the brace it came with. It's the only brace that's an option. I did put iron sights on it, and I put an optic on it. That is all I have done to this gun so far. It is a little bit heavy based on what it is. That's because it's straight blowback. It needs a lot of mass in the bolt in order for it to work. Straight blowback is a very reliable operating system for 9mm. A lot of subguns out there have it. One of my all-time favorite subguns, the CZ Scorpion, is a straight blowback gun. So I'm not knocking that operating system. Just would have liked to have seen something different. All right, so then let's talk about controls here. Standard single-sided AR safety. It takes AR triggers. The mag release, you've seen me fidgeting with it right here. This is the mag release. It pushes forward. There is no paddle bottom to it, so if you like to do the paddle grab and rip, you don't have that option here. There may be aftermarket paddles for these because PSA has been making the ARV for quite a while. I will have to dig into that because I would like to have that option. I can barely hook it with my thumb, but it's pretty flush with the bottom of that trigger guard. So trigger finger, I can reach it, no problem. I got stupid long fingers, so that's not a problem for me. It does have a bolt catch right here. So if I bring this back, lift the bolt catch up. So it just like a AKV, you'll recognize the bolt catch, bolt release. It's the same one that's on the PSA AKV. Works just like the original Scorpion Evo 3S ones. Gun runs empty, it'll lock open, put a new mag in, hit the bolt release, it's back in business. So it does have a single-sided charging handle that can be flipped from one side to the other. I've already done that just to make sure it does work. I will say this, besides the very heavy bolt, this thing has a very, very stout recoil spring. So I am very curious to see how this thing is going to shoot. Before I get to shooting, I do need to thank channel sponsors. Boise Black Rifle. thank you very much. They do a lot helping me out with ammo costs. They transfer guns in for me at no charge. I mean, I work there, so it's kind of one of those things, but they do help me out with a lot of costs as well that are associated with doing this besides just the transfers. So big thanks to them. US Law Shield, my other very long time sponsor. They also help this channel run with their sponsorship. If you carry a gun for self-defense, you need to have some sort of legal protection, and that's what US Law Shield is. They have lots of plans at different price ranges. They even cover on-duty cops, which most other similar services do not. So if you carry a gun for self-defense, you need to have some sort of protection. Talk to US Law Shield. You can get a plan at a very reasonable price per month. If anything ever happens, they have attorneys available to you 24 hours a day. US Law Shield, thank you to them. 2 new channel sponsors. They've been around very short time. This is like, I think, the 3rd video since I picked both of them up. One of those is going to be Aegis Gun Care. Sorry, I keep pronouncing their name wrong. They make phenomenal weapon lube and cleaner. They also offer cleaning kits and some other stuff. I have been running their lube in firearms for, I think this is 4 years now. Very happy with it. It does look really thin. People freak out because of how thin it is, but it is a phenomenal lube and it sticks around very well. Big thanks to Aegis Gun Care. And then last but not least is Thor Targets. I've got a bunch of their targets out here today that I'm going to be shooting. Huge thank you to Thor Targets for providing those targets. For people looking for steel targets, you ought to give them a shot, give them a look. They're not AR 500. It is their own proprietary steel. They say that their targets will withstand 50 BMG from 25 yards. I don't want to be around when someone tries that. If you want to try it, have at it. They do guarantee their plates will last through that. Anyway, let's get to shooting this thing. Oh, I do want to mention one thing before I get into this. So this thing does come with a PSA brand mag. It is a Scorpion pattern magazine. Every mag I have tried to put in here that's a standard stick mag fits just fine. I was very upset to find that my Magpul D50 drums will not fit in here. I wouldn't be able to show you on video anyways, because YouTube does not allow anything over 30 round magazines, 30 rounds and up. So for that purposes, just to mention here, every magazine I am shooting out here, besides the 120 rounder, they're all 29 rounds. So the Magpul D50 drum won't fit in here. This magwell sticks down too far and it impacts the drum itself. So it doesn't go in far enough to seat. It's kind of a bummer. I've got several of those drums and I would love to be able to put them in here and bump fire this thing, or potentially put a super safety in it down the road. Anyway, I'm gonna go load some mags and start shooting. Like I mentioned, I threw irons and an optic on it. I haven't zeroed it. I have not put a single round through this gun yet. So let's see how this goes. This is the mag that came with the gun. Like I mentioned, it's a 29 round magazine. And let's see. Oh, I guess I do this a lot. You might see this on a lot of my videos. Let me turn my optic on so I can see where I'm hitting. So I'm going to say this. I'm already not a fan of this brace. It came on my AKV and it works okay on that. This gun, it sits too high. So I'm having to put it way up here if I'm going to try and use it as a brace. So I'm probably going to swap it out. I brought a couple other braces that I have with me that are pick mount braces, so I'm going to try those out as well. I also might try lowering this down here a little bit on the pick rail on the rear of this, but I'm going to shoot it as it came. So let's see what happens on steel here. I am a little bit high, a little bit left. And I don't have my reading glasses on, so this is going to be fun. Up is that way. And shit, I don't have the right tool. This is not a screwdriver. Well, I guess I won't be zeroing this currently, so I'm going to just aim low right. let's see, one complaint I saw, somebody said that the ARVs would not drop the mags free when they were empty. So, seems to work. So that was a PSA pattern, a PSA mag, Scorpion pattern made by PSA. This is a Magpul Scorpion pattern mag. That falls out free, no problem. This is a factory CZ mag. Came with my Scorpion. See how it works. Real quick, recoil impulse, about what I expected. It feels a lot like my AKV, which is a little more abrupt than the Scorpion. And I think that's because of two things. Very short bolt travel, which is, again, the AKV has that same thing, and the really stiff recoil spring. So I think that might be why this has kind of an abrupt recoil impulse. Oh, you know what? Sorry. Those free fall also. So thus far, the three different brand mags that I have for my Scorpion all work fine in here. No feeding issues. They all fell out of the mag free, even with the gun angled up a little bit. I do have a little complaint about this mag release. It's very heavily sprung, which is great because I don't want my mags falling out. But because of the shape of it, it's actually hurting the tip of my finger. It feels like it's pulling the skin off of my fingernail. So, I'd like to see something different, maybe. I'm gonna have to look and see what's available. The brace isn't doing as bad as I thought it was going to. You can see it is very, very floppy. I still am going to try the other braces that I brought with me. But thus far, it's shooting great. I'm gonna go see if I actually have the right tool so I can actually zero this thing now, since all I brought out was a screwdriver that doesn't work. So I'm gonna go reload some mags, look for a tool, I'll be back. So let's see if I'm zeroed. So, appears to be working fine. I lost a couple mags. How about a banana mag? This thing is working great so far. I'm getting pretty close to 200 rounds. I finish this mag, that will be 200 rounds. All right, that is 200 rounds. The first 200 rounds, I have been using all the same ammo. It is all MagTech 115 grain brass case. I'm gonna start trying some other stuff now to see how it does. I've got 200 rounds of MagTech 115 brass through this. No malfunctions whatsoever. Shoots nice. Actually, I will give it this at this point. It's actually shooting nicer than I expected it to. My brass is all 3 to 4 o'clock over here, kind of right where you would want it if it was an AR. So let's try some different stuff in here. I have got 4 different loads. This is 115 grain brass case STV Scorpio. I got 20 rounds of each here just to see how they function. Let's see what we got here. No malfunctions there. Next up is 115 grain steel case MagTech. This is the stuff that made my Kuna choke. Granted, hundreds of rounds of it with a very high back pressure can. So let's see how it does here. No issues there, running good. Next up, 124 grain CCI Blazer brass. So if all goes as expected, this should have a little bit more felt recoil. Heavier bullet, the more it's going to push back. So let's see how this does. Working good so far. No ammo issues at all. This is 20 rounds of Winchester white box personal defense. Don't use it for personal defense. It's training ammo. 147 grain jacketed hollow points. Very small hollow point. Maybe 1/8 of an inch in diameter. Maybe a little more than that. 3/16. So, see how this does. Ooh, got a choke. What do we have? It looks like a feeding issue. This round was sitting on the feed ramp, smacked in there by the... I don't see anything wrong with it. So, give it another shot. Didn't do any damage to the round. I don't know if... So the 147 grains are a little bit longer overall than the 115s and 124s. Plus it's a hollow point. So that was one. We'll see what happens. Nope, does not want to take that round. So let's get that out of there and try again. So it'll take it from the right side of the mag. That was the round on the left side of the mag. Let's see what happens. So that bullet, we're down one. We got 2 malfunctions, but it's probably ammo related. Maybe it may have just been that bullet, because the rest of that mag went just fine. So maybe there's something up with this round. Yeah, it does have kind of a nick on the front of the hollow point. Like the jacket actually doesn't go all the way out. The jacket's kind of hanging off. So I'm going to chalk that up to that bullet. You'll notice I swapped braces. This is the brace that came on the Kuna. This is the Strike Industries brace. I'm not a fan of the looks. It is a very solid. The lockup on it is very solid. It fits perfectly on this gun. It's a very sturdy brace, even if you're going to use it as a brace. Looks wise, I think it looks more appropriate, even though I'm not a fan of the Strike Industries flare that it has.
We need to talk about your flare.
This shape and style of brace, I think, is more appropriate for this particular gun. The triangle brace looks great on AKs, not so much on this. So, and like I mentioned, that folds up perfectly on this. So, initially I was a little harsh. Let me take these off so I can stop yelling. Initially, I was a little harsh on this thing because I am a huge fan of the Kuna. But it's surprising me. It actually shoots better than I thought it was going to. It's still not as smooth as the Kuna. I still think it's probably going to be not quite as smooth as the Scorpion. Speaking of the Kuna and the Scorpion, I brought those with me. Bear in mind, both my Kuna and my Scorpion are SBRs, so they won't have a brace on them. They both have stocks on them, so they will have that benefit going for them. But still, overall shooting impression, felt recoil. We'll see what it does. I've got all 3 guns out here. I am going to start putting a couple rounds through the 9mm Jakl, and then actually let me load them all, make them hot. All right, that guy is hot and safe. Kuna is hot and safe. Normally I run a can on the Kuna. I took it off to make it as close to a fair comparison as I can. And then same thing on the Scorpion. It normally lives with a can on it. But again, and it's not exactly a fair comparison on like bone stock to bone stock, because this is far from bone stock. The Kuna's pretty close to stock other than the stock. I haven't messed with any of the internals on it. Lots of stuff has been changed on the Scorpion, but that's one of the reasons. I mean, it was my favorite PCC up until the Kuna came out. So, all right, here we go. A couple rounds out of the 9mm Jakl. And a couple rounds out of the Kuna. Definitely can feel the roller delay. Softer recoiling, a little bit slower operating. Yeah, this gun cycles really quick compared to the Kuna. And of course, I can't see my... The Kuna is definitely softer shooting. Roller delayed, that is to be expected. So, Kuna, let's see what it's like against the Scorpion. And by the way, I'm using 124 grain CCI Blazer brass for this comparison. Man, they feel very, very similar. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty identical feeling in recoil. This gun is a little more comfortable to shoot. It's got an actual stock on it. It's got a Timney trigger in it, so the trigger's stupid good. That's the upside to this. That Timney trigger was not cheap for that Scorpion. I can stick any AR trigger I want to in this. I'm a big Geisley fan, but I've also fallen in love with the Schmid 2-stage, especially their flat-faced one. And I think that might be what goes in here. All right, that is empty. It's pretty damn close to this thing. I'm gonna go, I mean, honestly, this shoulder's better. The optic's at a better height for me. I just haven't gotten used to the way this thing shoulders. But recoil impulse wise, they're almost spot on. The Kuna is cheating. Definitely softer shooting. So far, I've got probably about 500 rounds through the Kuna. I kept all the empty boxes and bag because I had some loose ammo in a bag. So I will tally up the final round count and let's go hit the shop. I'm home from the range. Shot about 500 rounds. I think it was just a tad shy of 500 rounds through this today. And I am going to be 100% honest. I'm actually surprised at how much I like it. I thought I was going to have been spoiled significantly by the Kuna, and I didn't think I was going to like this thing that much. It really did surprise me, which is good. I should have known better. I like all the other Jakls. Why wouldn't I like this one? So after shooting them back to back, which you just saw, this thing, recoil impulse wise, bolt speed, just everything about the way it shoots feels very much like the CZ Scorpion. The only difference is it's got different ergonomics. The Scorpion Obviously not the same pattern gun at all. This started life kind of as an AR pattern firearm. The upper is different, obviously. And I did put a different brace on it. I like this brace better than the brace that came on it. I'm not a big fan of that triangle brace. But let's put this thing on the bench here, open it up, take a look at things, and show you from a maintenance standpoint the things you need to look out for. Here we are at the bench. So let's take a quick look and see what we got going on here. Just like any other AR, you got an upper and a lower pin. Once I pull these out, oh, I know what I was gonna get. I need the scale. Once you take the pins out, this thing will open up and come apart just like a regular AR or any other Jakl. So there's my lower. Back here, the rubber buffer in the back of the receiver. It doesn't have a buffer tube like an AR does. Jakl's, the recoil spring is in the upper, but they do all have some sort of a rubber bumper at the back where the bolt carrier can potentially bump into the aluminum lower, so they put in a rubber bumper. This one appears to be exactly the same part that is in the 308. The 5.56 guns and 300 blackout guns are different. They're just basically like a fat rubber washer that's held in with a screw that's almost flush. This one, you can see the screw is very recessed down in there. So, lower wise, everything else is AR parts. Trigger, safety, all that stuff, you can swap them out, put whatever you want to in there. The ejector here is attached to the lower with two roll pins right there. The bolt catch, you'll see it move up and down. So when the mag runs empty and the follower pushes up, that locks the bolt open. And then this piece right here is a chunk of steel that is attached to the front here with a couple of screws. I don't know if you can see those. There you go. That's the feed lips. So when your magazine is inserted, it comes right up to the base of there, and this is guiding the rounds as they come out of the mag into your barrel. So let's get the lower out of the way. Now for the dirty part. So just like the other Jakls, push that forward and come out and out of the recess in the top of the receiver, and then it'll come out. It is a captive recoil spring, very similar to an AK. The next thing is going to be your bolt, and it comes right out. Nice and smooth. It's still slick. You can see the lube on it. That is the Aegis lube. This stuff right here that I put on it yesterday when it came in. So I opened this thing up yesterday, lubed it, and that is all I did to it before I took it out to the range. So unlike the other Jakls, this is your bolt face. It's not like an AR where it's got a cammed bolt and locking lugs and all that stuff. This is direct blowback. This bolt, as I mentioned earlier, is very heavy. All right, turn the scale on. This is gonna be in ounces. 16 ounces is a pound. Oh, there it shows. 1 pound, 5.4 ounces. That is a heavy bolt carrier, or a bolt. You know what? Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna grab the bolt out of the Scorpion and see what it weighs. All right, so here is the bolt and recoil spring assembly for the CZ Scorpion. I'm gonna leave the spring assembly attached to it just because it's kind of a pain in the butt to get it apart. It's been a while since I did it, so it's just gonna stay there. It doesn't weigh that much. So here is the entire bolt assembly for the Scorpion. Same weight. All right, so maybe it just feels heavier because of the design. We're off by half an ounce. That this is actually lighter by half an ounce. I'm sorry, heavier by half an ounce. So let's just call that's the recoil spring assembly. So they're about the same exact weight. So, I was making a big deal about the weight, but apparently that's not as heavy as I thought it was. Aside from that, your charging handle is right here. If you decide that you want to change the sides, which is designed from the factory to be able to change, you just draw the charging handle. I'm trying to do this without flinging parts around. You just draw it back to the very rear portion, pull the charging handle out, flip it over, and put it back in the opposite side. I don't want it in the opposite side, so I'm going to put it back where it belongs. And slide that back forward. So, the upper is monolithic other than the handguard, which is right here. Very short handguard. I normally like to run like a BCM CAG. I do not have room to run one here. It would put my hand onto the barrel. They do give you a little bit of a hand stop there, not much. There's about enough room on here to put a light. If you wanted to run a vertical foregrip on here and you had an SBR, you could do that. Muzzle on it is 1/2 by 28. Standard 9mm muzzle thread for most modern guns. I am not going to clean this. I did wipe this off, so I probably should throw some lube back on it. And then I'm going to put it back together. The Boise Black Rifle Range Day is coming up in 2 days, and this is going to be out there. And I'm going to let anybody that wants to put rounds through this thing. You can see there's not hardly any wear on this. There's a little bit on the very rear bolt carrier right there where this oil tip is at. But, I mean, there's no marks. I've got 500 rounds through this thing, and there's no noticeable wear. There is down here, because obviously that's where the gun is cocking the hammer. But everywhere else this thing is riding, I don't see any noticeable wear, even up front here. So let's put this thing back together. Drop that in, get my recoil spring assembly. So it's very top in there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. There's a notch, round notch. This portion goes into that. I need to get the spring in the back of the bolt carrier, push it in. Push it in forward and up. Once you're in far enough, it locks right in. Upper is ready to go back on the lower. I'm not, like I said, I'm not cleaning it. That is back together. The only thing I'm going to do now is throw my light on it. Got the light, you can see there. This is a Arasaka light with a Malkoff head and a Surefire tape switch. I really like their setup, that combination. Let's see here. I got nothing else. I'm not changing the muzzle device right now because I don't have the correct muzzle device to put on it, and my can has not arrived yet. So for now, we're going to wrap it up. I will do a part 2 after the can has come in. I'm also going to end up changing the pistol grip and putting a different trigger in it. After I've done some mods to it, I will come back and do like a part 2 follow-up, whether my initial impression is still holding. Also, I'm going to try and track down, see if anybody's making a different mag release, and if I can find one of those, I will definitely be getting one. So as far as wrap-up goes, I'm actually really impressed with it. It shoots very nice. It's less expensive than a Scorpion, but it's more expensive than a Kuna if you get the Kuna without the brace. If you get the Kuna with the brace, with that brace, the Kuna is actually a little bit more expensive. Right now, I would definitely still stick with the Kuna, my personal take. And I'm not bagging on the gun. I did start off bagging on the gun at the beginning of this review. But currently, it actually has really impressed me, and it has surprised me quite a bit. So, if you don't want the Kuna, for some reason, there's a lot of people out there who won't buy anything from Springfield. If you're one of those people, but you're looking for a 9mm sub gun kind of thing, and you can't find a CZ Scorpion because they are really hard to find right now, you might want to grab one of these. Same mags, shoots just like one, and it's made here in the US. So you got lots of stuff going for it. As always, remember to practice your ABCs. Always be carrying. Some crazy shit going on out there lately. Some of those incidents that have happened recently would never have gotten as far as they had somebody been there with a concealed carry firearm. You never know when things are going to happen. Always, always, always be prepared. That's it. Always be carrying. So, all right, so there. Okay, so, all right, all right, so.